protesting against India, who has masterminded the killing of Canadian citizens on the Canadian soil. India is doing the genocide of Sikhs for the last so many years.
Canadian Sikhs held protests outside Indian diplomatic missions in Ottawa, Toronto, and Vancouver. In Toronto, demonstrators even went to the extent of burning the Indian flag and hitting a cardboard figure of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi with shoes. Canadian Sikhs staged small protests outside India's diplomatic missions on Monday, September 25. A week after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that there may be a link between New Delhi and the murder of a Sikh separatist advocate in British Columbia. Trudeau, a week ago, stood in Parliament to say that domestic intelligence agencies were actively pursuing credible allegations tying New Delhi's agents to the shooting of Canadian citizen Hardeep Singh Nijjar, 45, in June.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Canada is a rule of law country. The protection of our citizens and defence of our sovereignty are fundamental. Our top priorities have therefore been, one, that our law enforcement and security agencies ensure the continued safety of all Canadians, and two, that all steps be taken to hold perpetrators of this murder to account. Canada has declared its deep concerns to the top intelligence and security officials of the Indian government. Last week at the G20, I brought them personally and directly to Prime Minister Modi in no uncertain terms.
About 100 protesters in Toronto burned an Indian flag and struck a cardboard cutout of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi with a shoe. About 200 protesters also gathered outside the Vancouver consulate. In Ottawa, fewer than 100 people gathered in front of the Indian High Commissioner's office, embassy in the capital. They waved yellow flags marked with the word Khalistan, a reference to their support for making India's Punjab region an independent state for Sikhs, a cause Nijjar campaigned for. We are really thankful to Justin Trudeau. We want no stone left unturned to get to the bottom of this cowardly act, protester Reshma Singh Bolina said in Ottawa. Canada should put pressure on India to stop the killing of innocent people in future. Canada is home to about 77 lakh Sikhs, the highest population of Sikhs outside Punjab. And in recent years, there have been many demonstrations that have irked India. India labeled Trudeau's allegations absurd. It warned travelers last week that there were growing anti-India activities in Canada, urging utmost caution, but did not provide evidence or details of specific incidents. The allegations have put a spotlight on Canada's Sikh community. Sikhs make up just 2% of India's 1.4 billion population, but they are a majority in Punjab, a state of 30 million where their religion was born 500 years ago. The Indian government used dirty tactics and compromised the sovereignty of Canada, said Kuljit Singh, a protester in Toronto and a member of the group Sikhs for Justice. Canada's accusations have sparked tit-for-tat retaliation, with each nation expelling diplomats and New Delhi suspending visas for Canadians. Some of the protesters in both Toronto and Ottawa called for the expulsion of the Indian High Commissioner Ambassador to Canada, Sanjay Kumar Verma, who earlier said authorities had been informed of the protests and were providing security. Nijjar, who worked as a plumber, left the North Indian state of Punjab a quarter-century ago and became a Canadian citizen. He has supported the formation of an independent Sikh homeland. India designated him a terrorist in July 2020. The Canadian government has amassed both human and signals intelligence in a months-long investigation into the Sikh separatist leader. CBC News reported last week, citing unidentified sources. The United States worked closely with Canada on the intelligence pointing toward the possible involvement of Indian agents in the murder of a Canadian citizen in June, a senior Canadian government source told Reuters. Following a growing diplomatic standoff between India and Canada over the murder of Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a group called the United Hindu Front staged a protest in New Delhi against Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Sunday, chanting anti-Trudeau slogans in the Indian capital. Meanwhile, in the Punjab region of Western India, senior Sikh leader Guru Charan Singh Grewal warned that an atmosphere of fear has been created and that parents are afraid that their children can meet the same fate of slain Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar if they attend protests. Tensions between India and Canada escalated after Trudeau said on Monday that there were credible allegations linking Indian government agents to the June murder in British Columbia of a Sikh leader campaigning for the creation of an independent Sikh homeland called Khalistan.
What do you say to
protesting against India, who has masterminded the killing of Canadian citizens on the Canadian soil? India is doing the genocide of Sikhs for the last so many years. Sikhs are being killed in India in numbers and thousands, and they are now started killing Canadians on the Canadian soil. Hardeep
Khalistan! 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 Khalistan!
Torture. We want to convey this message. Now, please leave our land. We need our own country, Khalistan. So there we have to clear them. All around the world now the people clear because Sikh needs their separate home.
That all these consulate offices are housing the killers of the Sikhs. I mean, for them to expel one of the top diplomats from Canada and to confirm that he was actually working with RA is big news for us. There's a lot of anger in the community. The community has been saying this for years, that all these consulate offices, the Indian government is interfering in Sikh affairs in Canada.
For a lot of our community, so that's why we coming here. We want to justice. They murdered the Hardeep Singh Nijjar, so that's why we come to High Commission India.
It's not just about Canadians. It's happening everywhere, you know. So it is deep in every Sikh we have in our heart that we once had our own nation, you know. We don't mind living in India with them, you know, but initially we should be treated as equal citizens. It's not just about Sikhs only. You see now what's happening back here. The majority government of Hinduism, right? They're forcing minorities to be treated as enslaved, and whosoever talks about it, their homes are being destroyed, their parents are taken away, their kids are taken away. So I don't think those are good rights, and those nations can be called as democratic. Can you?